And as we have this conversation about menstrual hygiene management, or that time of the month, or a girl having her periods, there's a debate that has been raging on in terms of disposable pads and reusable pads. So I guess I will come straight to you, Rosette. We're happy to have you here so you could address this issue, because there are people who either don't understand how disposable or reusable pads are different, can be used, and maybe shy away from the latter. So what are your thoughts?
As far as I'm concerned, the need is huge. The need is huge. And we cannot start debating whether we have reusable or disposable, where we have a big need. What matters is this child should be able to have something which is acceptable. And the beauty with Uganda, we have standards.
Thank you.
I think in Africa, we are the second country to have standards for reusable sanitary pads.
I think there's a general ignorance when it comes to reusable. People like, but
people cringe.
But how? But how?
No, but I should ask, what is it that your grandmother used those days?
That's a fundamental question.
Yeah, because this is the 21st century. If those days she would use half-funny rags and she would manage, can't we improve on those rags in the 21st century and we make something which is really acceptable, hygienically safe for the girl?
Yeah.
Because, yes, we are discussing reusable, disposable, but they all come with issues. Where we don't have water, I wouldn't recommend reusables because there is a challenge on how to manage taking care of them. And then we have other social norms and practices. Don't put your dirty linen in public. And here we are saying, if you're using reusable, then you should wash it well
and dry it in the sun.
So, again, as we are discussing this issue, we should be able to address those social norms.
But the same thing with disposable as well. You also have challenges there because many of the schools do not have the right facilities, or incinerators, or bathrooms that are specifically for girls. The privacy issue.
Yeah, that is actually one of the challenges. As we talk about the disposable sanitary pads, we need to work with other sectors. Issues of environment. Are we taking care of environment? Because I've had experiences with these students. They tell you, you ask, where do you put the used sanitary pads? We dump them in the toilet.
In the pit latrine.
And this is material that is not biodegradable. So it keeps on piling. And at the end of the day, the head teachers in those schools keep saying, girls' toilets always fill up so fast. Imagine, we have not taken care of their unique needs as we do the construction. So we need to get as many people on board. We should not look at menstruation as just the pad. We should look at it holistically. Because as we talk about this, we need the pads. Health issues. If the girls are not managing very well, then issues of infections are likely to come up. And that means the health sector should come in. If we're talking about disposables, then water and environment should be able to give us solutions. So this issue is not about the pad alone. We should go beyond.
So we have to have the conversations regarding education, sensitization, for everyone to know what is involved.
And then invest in research. We have to invest in research. Because if we're talking about incinerators, people from the health sector will also tell you that it's not good to have as many incinerators in an area.
Interesting.
So we need to invest in research.
Yes.
How do we dispose of these pads?
And I think the most important thing as we head into MHM Day is to take action. That is the main thing. So much as we're looking at all these other factors, what are we doing on an individual level? I mean, thank you very much to DFCU Bank for your internal efforts. But as, you know, just as a person, even if you don't have nieces, what can you do? You can actually be part of the campaign, Keep a Girl in School. That's by Uganda Red Cross Society. You can go to the websites or to all their social media pages and find out how you too can make a difference. Because like Rukh-Shana said, 15,000 shillings and a girl's life is changed for a term. So,
I think that is the way to go.
so if you were to sit down with a young girl now, based on what you know, or a young boy now, Rukh-Shana, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Ouch.
What would you say?
What would I say? That's a tough one, Crystal. Huh? What would I say? I probably would say to them that menstruation it's normal. It's part of our growth. You know, it's part of our growth process, and it's going to be with us for a very long time. And I think what I'd say to the girls is it's important for us as women or as girls to also be a little bit open-minded. I may not necessarily afford a sanitary pad because it is quite expensive. But there are ways that I can sort of manage. And she mentioned our grandparents and our parents. And I know if I say that in a room of certain girls right now, they just cringe. But the reality is, if it's what you have to work with, then you work with what you have to work with, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I'd say to the girl. To the boy, I'd say, I mean, you're going to be a dad tomorrow, you're going to be a dad tomorrow, you're going to be a husband tomorrow. It's important for you to be mindful of the things how you treat girls when they're going through these phases, especially teenagers. They're very sensitive.
Yes, yes.
So you need to be mindful, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about.
Exactly.
It's part of the entire process. Of course, to other stakeholders, the corporate companies, really, all of us, this is not something that the government can do. It's actually not even the government's, I could be short for this. It's not the government's job. You know what I mean? It's our job as society. So there's so many corporate companies in this country, and there's a lot that we could do if we just pulled our resources together and supported a cause like this. And it's more important for us to start now, as opposed to thinking, so she's going to be in her period for the next 30 years, then what? Let's deal with the now, and then we shall fix it as we go along.
Rosette, as you said, there is a need, and we need to do what we can to address it.
Yeah, we need to do something. And for me, if I had an opportunity, maybe this is the only opportunity that I have, father figures, you hold the resources out there. Please make use of the resources by investing in girls. Buying a sanitary pads will help these girls to be valuable citizens of this country. So father figures need to really get out. But I also call upon the communities. Menstruation does not mean that this girl is an adult, that she's ready to marry.
That she's ready for marriage.
Yeah.
So we should fight those negative cultural norms and practices of marrying off girls when they're not ready for marriage. We should support the girls to go through menstruation with dignity.
With dignity. I think that is so, so important. Thank you very much, ladies. And I think moving forward, again, to men, women, girls, ask questions. Don't be ashamed of this conversation. Feel free to talk about it. It's so interesting that a grown man in his 30s recently asked me, what's the difference between a pad and a tampon?
Really?
Yes, he had no clue. I mean, the men are like, okay, we
things
know
we
what
take
the
for
packets
granted.
look like, but we
Yeah.
ask questions.
For me, who has trained men and women, when you ask them to touch some of these products, they're no, my culture does not allow. Then how will you support your daughter if you go to the supermarket every day and you buy bread and you can't buy a sanitary pad?
Exactly.
So we should get out of that box and support the girls.
Exactly. And take action. All right?
Yeah, take
Well,
action.
thank you so much, ladies.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.